BIAFRA breaking news. Urgent appeal regarding human rights violation in Nigeria, Biafra land, particularly the unlawful detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB leader, that have been detained over 2 years and now without no trial and no any trial whatsoever hanging on his neck yet. The Fulani government of Nigeria, ably led by former President Muhammadu Buhari and also the current President in office, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they have refused to grant him the bail or the freedom which the appeal court on the 13th day of October 2022 granted him acquitted and discharged. Yet, they are still keeping him in their custody. That is the highest human rights violation or whatsoever you can ever find in the human history. Anyway, my wonderful people, good morning again, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are. Happy Sunday, happy weekend. May the good Lord bless this day for you and I and every other person who believes. And I want to use this medium also to appeal and also apologize to those people who have thinking that I have offended them in one way or the other. Make una do Lord, make una forgive me. If you are watching my mouth and you're thinking that, my dear, you just go and kill yourself for nothing. Of course, now that is the simple truth. If you didn't tell me and you will be dragging on the ground, hey, you call me mumu, you call me this, you call me that. Hey, one you don't touch my body. So if you are watching my mouth, you go just get angry unnecessarily. Now me get my mouth and now me get my talk. So now you get your own mouth also. Now you get your own abuse. It doesn't take anything out from my body, my dear brothers and sisters. And so it take me. So make on a jollificato as we say today on Sunday. One of the Boko Haram where they disturb this country, they call them they call him ex Boko Haram member. He don't find his wife and bury her secretly without nobody knowing about it. We don't know what led to that, but we are coming back to reading between the lines. That is why when they said repentant Boko Haram, and I was asking these same Boko Haram people, they don't know that the blood, that the level you will kill, the blood of the people you kill will keep on pursuing you. This man that killed his wife, tomorrow it might be his daughter, his kids, relatives, or whatever, because that blood have already overshadowed his eyes and thinking. So everything he's thinking about is how to shed blood. Now he don't use a hand, send his wife to judgment. Now he's answerable to the government of the same Fulani people that call them repentant Boko Haram. But they don't have repentant Biafrans. No repentant IPOB. Everything about Biafra and IPOB. Now, Jideke. Anyway, no time to tell time. Let us go straight to the reason why we are here. Remember, like, share, comment, and make sure you do what? You comment and subscribe to my channel for a better experience and also more videos. This message is coming from the Secretary General of the United Nations headquarters. That is what this one is coming from. New York, United States of America. We make an know say the Biafra message and the Biafra news and the Biafra happenings, the global is aware of it. If Joe Biden will issue a warning to his subjects not to travel to the southeast, that means everything that is happening, they know about it, and they are aware of it, and they are also watching, and they are also have a hand in it, because if they don't have a hand in it, they would have done something all this while. You cannot tell me they are not seeing the kind of killings that is going on in the southeast. Even when most of the NGOs have been attacked in Anambra State, Joe Biden and the White House was mute because it was to their own advantage. Anyway, let us go there. Urgent appeal regarding human rights violations mostly in Biafra land and the unlawful detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is where we anchor the headline of this day. My name is Obuluzu Chidebere, and he is a Biafran. Okay, a Biafran and a writer for Family Writers Press International, will be FWPI. It was a heavy heart that I write to you today, seeking your immediate attention and intervention in the matter of grave concerns, according to Obuluzu Chidebere. The continued the unlawfully detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by the Nigerian government, and I do eagerly hope that this letter finds you well amidst the ongoing United Nations Summit, where world leaders have gathered to discuss global issues and reaffirm their commitment to the principles of justice, human rights, and the rule of law. Nigeria, as a matter of state of Nigeria as a member of the States of the United Nations have a solemn obligation to uphold the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. These international agreements enshrine the fundamental principles of human rights and the principles of individuals from the arbitrary arrest, detention, and the unfair trials. Nonetheless, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, who has been a symbol of the struggle for self-determination and the rise of the Biafran people in present southeastern Nigeria, as stipulated in the United Nations Covenant, was kidnapped in Kenya by Nigerian secret police, extraordinary rendition to Nigeria, and has been unlawfully detained for over 2 years, and against the ruling of the Nigerian Appellate Court and the Appellate Court and the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, who declared the IPOB leader discharged and acquitted and guiltless. Respective Kanu's journey through the Nigerian legal system has been marred by serious violations of his human rights, and it is essential that the United Nations addresses this matter as urgent as possible. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, the IPOB leader, was first arrested in October of 2015 by the so-called Nigerian government and held in detention for over a year without trial. His arrest was followed by accusations of treasonable felony and other charges. Despite these charges, Mr. Kanu was granted bail by the Federal High Court in Abuja in April of 2017. In September of 2017, his home was raided by the Nigerian military and he was declared missing for over a year. During his invisible raid, over 28 persons were killed in his country home at Umuahia, Biafra land, by Nigerian soldiers, and the circumstances led to his disappearance, raising concerns about his safety and the rule of law in Nigeria. In June of 2021, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was arrested again in a criminal manner, better called kidnap. He was charged with several offenses, including terrorism-related charges. However, on October 13, 2021, a Nigerian appellate court ruled in favor of Mr. Kanu's release and acquitted him of all charges. October of 2022, my dear, you are mistaken. Citing lack of evidence and the manner of which he was extradited without extradition proceedings. Despite the court verdict, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has remained in detention in Nigeria. His continued detention is not only a violation of the court's decisions, but also a blatant disregard for international human rights standards and principles. The unlawful detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a clear violation of his fundamental human rights. It raises serious concerns about the independence of the Nigerian judiciary, the rule of law, and the government's commitment to upholding international human rights of standards. The Nigerian government failure to release Mr. Kanu after his discharge and acquitted represent a flagrant violation of his fundamental human rights to liberty and security of persons as guaranteed by Article 9 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Article 9 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Moreover, the conditions of Mr. Kanu's detention have been a subject of concern. Reports inhuman treatment and denial of access to adequate medical care and have surfaced, further emphasizing the need for immediate interventions. The United Nations, through her various bodies and resolutions, have consistently emphasized the importance of respecting human rights, the rule of law, and the independence of judiciary. The United Nations have also expressed concerns about the arbitrary detention of individuals and called for their release in line with the international standards. We urge the United Nations to reaffirm these principles and take urgent action as address the ongoing human rights violations in Nigeria, particularly the unlawful detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. For the sake of justice, let the United Nations look at the things they must do. Number 1 on our list, request that the international human rights organizations and observers be granted access to visit Mr. Kanu in detention to ensure his well-being and proper treatment. Number 2, call for the immediate and unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in accordance with the court rulings and international human rights standards. Number 3, condemn any action by the Fulani-controlled Nigeria government that violates the principles of the rule of law and respect for human rights in their country called Nigeria. Number 4, engage in diplomatic efforts to encourage the Nigerian government to adhere to its international obligations and respect the rights of its citizens. Number 5, advocate for the establishment of an independent inquiry to investigate the circumstances surrounding Mr. Kanu's detention and the violation of his human rights. The United Nations has played a vital role in promoting and protecting human rights around the world. In the spirit of the ongoing United Nations Summit, where global leaders convene to address critical issues, we implore you to take immediate and decisive action to address the ongoing human rights violations in Nigeria. The case of the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represents not only a violation of an individual rights, but also a litmus test for the international community's commitment to justice, human rights, and the rule of law. We believe that the United Nations can make a difference by holding Nigeria accountable for its actions and ensuring that justice prevails. We eagerly await your response and hope that the United Nations will stand a beacon of hope and justice for those whose rights have been unjustly violated. Sincerely, this message is from Obulus Chidebere for the Family Writers Press International, wey be for Biafra land. So my wonderful people, and I don't hear them, as on I hear them, that's how the thing take be. So make on know do what? Make on know bypass this message. Continue sharing, liking, commenting, and make sure that this message get to every nooks and crannies of our nation. Let the United Nations know what we are passing through, and let them do something about it, because some things are getting out of hand. The Biafran people have been the object of ridicule and mockery. They have been at the helm of every attack, both physically, spiritually, and otherwise. And it was through their military personnel and their foot soldiers called the herdsmen. That is what we have been suffering in this so-called country. Anyway, my wonderful Biafran brothers and sisters, share this message, like, comment, and make sure you subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos as we proceed. Bye for now, my wonderful people. Kemesiano.